job security is the new job insecurity. Whatever job you're doing, which is an employment, it's important to also be developing some personal skills of yours that you can market and use to sustain and generate income in case you don't have a job again. And I say this with all respect for jobs. I couldn't get where I am without jobs. But I'm just saying that the new economy we live in, things are no longer the 20, 30, 40 years lifespan, right?
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, you have to understand that companies have a fiduciary duty to one person, and that one person is the stockholder.
Yes.
If it's a public company, it's the stockholder. Everything else, no. People are not stupid. People are not dumb.
Yeah.
Right? We live in a time today when sometimes people are tempted to try to be what they are not. It's not good. It's not going to help you. Right? Because they say you can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the times. Number one. And number two, especially when it comes to media, right? People can tell you pretense.
Yeah.
People can tell you if you're not genuine, right? I'm always very genuine and very transparent with my story, right?
Wow.
I just told you what I wrote 14 years ago as a goal.
Yeah.
I'm not anywhere close to that, but I know I'm going to get there. I don't know if it makes sense.
Very true.
The advice I give people are things I have lived, and I believe that if they implement it, it's going to cut short their route. What I mean by that is the lessons I try to teach, I try to help people make their own new mistakes, not the same mistakes. Because a mentor is the one who helps cut your journey by about 75%.
Wow.
It's a fact.
Yeah.
So that's why I also advise people. I say always think about one of the things I spoke about a lot towards the end of this year. It's about value.
Yeah.
Because that's a concept a lot of people really misunderstand.
Yeah.
What value is. Right? People misunderstand price for value. People misunderstand what the cost is, what the price is when you're trying to get something for what the value is. What I mean by that is simple. Toridey could get up today and say, hey guys, I'm organizing a seminar. I've been doing podcasting, video podcasting, photography, videography, and I'm organizing a seminar for aspiring podcasters and videographers, right? And I'm going to be charging $1,500. It's going to be all day Saturday from 8 a.m. in the morning to 5 p.m. in the evening, right?
Yeah.
On that panel, I'm going to be having myself. I'll also bring Gustav B. Achu, who is an inspirational speaker. He will talk to you about motivation, the mindset, how to achieve in difficulty, how to manage personal finance, all that good stuff, right? And a few other people. Somebody will look at it and say, $1,500? That's too expensive. Another person will look at it and go, you know what? That is cheap.
Yeah.
Because what Toridey is trying to do to me, he's packaging 4 years of failure.
Yep.
And he's trying to package all of that and give it to me in 8 hours to say, don't do these things. Do these ones because they have been proven to work.
Yep.
Oh my God. Is $1,500 even worth all that knowledge? You understand what I mean, Toridey? So once we start understanding what value means, then you realize that it's not the cost, right? It's the value of what you're getting out of that. I'll give you an example. I'm a ferocious reader. I don't have cable at home. I watch EPL and all these other leagues. I watch highlights from YouTube. You know the 9-minute highlights?
Same thing I do.
That's all I watch. I don't have time to watch that. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
I am just saying that I am sick and tired of watching other people make money.
Yeah.
I'm done. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I got to keep improving myself. The reason why is because it's simple, right? Assets, right? Follow skill sets and value. I want us to understand.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to be able to increase your assets, you have to increase yourself. Asset is a combination of what? Asset is a combination of mindset plus skill set plus tool set equal to asset. So anytime your assets are not where you want it to be, the first person you have to accuse is your mindset, your skill set, and the tool set. What is your mindset?
Wow.
What is set? Set, what does set mean in English, basically? Setting something, it means giving the thing a stable and stagnant situation, right? Set can mean something like calibrate. So if I say, Toridey, why don't you set the temperature on the thermostat to 70? So you are telling the thermostat that anytime I want this room to stay at 70. So mindset is therefore the set of your mind. Where you want it to be. Where you want it to be, right? That is one. Skill set number 2. What is the skill that you'll be taking into 2024 that you need to enhance, or that you need to learn, or you need to improve, or you need to go out and find it which is new to you, that is going to be able to work with your mindset and your tool set to give you assets? What are your tools? What are the skill sets? Is it communication? Communication is going to be one of the most important skills you will need in your life. When I talk of communication, I don't say you have to be a journalist. I don't say you have to go become some, no. Your ability to express your ideas and opinions in a persuasive manner, not in an argumentative manner, not in a manner to fight. Because whenever you are argumentative, it blocks the other person's ability to listen. Right? So communication is one thing. Another thing, which is a very important, and I hope people are picking up what I'm dropping here, because these are some critical things anybody who wants to get ahead will need for 2024 and beyond. The second most important thing, you have to learn what branding and personal branding is all about. What I mean by that, you don't have to be a social media person. You don't have to be a podcaster like Toridey or anybody. Everybody at every point in time is selling a brand. Your brand is the ability to convince other people to believe in what you're saying, the vision you might have, or the idea you might have. Your brand is what you exude in terms of what you are by the perception of the other person seeing you, right? So people have to learn and understand what personal branding is. The third most important thing, everybody must become comfortable with pivoting and reinventing themselves. What I mean by pivoting is, before today, people used to work for Ford companies. People used to work for Chococam in Cameroon, for Savonnerie de l'Afrique in Cameroon. 30 years, they retire, they give them a medal at the stadium in Kumba or in Bamenda, and they make a retirement party and they go home. It's not good. Those days are over. The studies are telling us that an average person today will change career paths 4 times and possibly change jobs 8 times before they retire. That is between the ages of 25 to 65, right? I am an example. I've already changed career paths at least 3 times. For jobs, I've changed multiple jobs. I came to America, I started as a nursing assistant. I went to school and I became an LVN. I left LVN school, worked as an LVN for a few years, put together some money, went down to the University of California in Berkeley. I studied business and international marketing and business. I left, I went back to Africa, did some business distributing natural health products. Before I did that, I sold used cars. Before I did that, I joined network marketing companies, right? I came back from Africa with a failed mission. Things didn't work out. I was bankrupt. I had to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to bankruptcy court. I foreclosed on my homes and rented properties. I had to move my family to a small apartment, a small townhome. We started life all over, shopping from Goodwill and trying to make things happen, driving a 240,000-mile car to rebuild life again, right? I went into IT, moved from IT. Now I'm doing speaking, which is something I've always done along the line, even though I've been doing all this different work, right? So what I'm saying is that the life of today, the future is in the hands of those who can reinvent themselves. You might not need to do a wholesale reinvent like I did, but even in your career, things are changing. I was watching an interesting video. When was that? About a day or 2 ago, right? My wife was showing me a video about a machine they use in the surgical room to operate upon people. So they're encouraging more surgeons to use that because they don't have to operate manually. It's a machine that have arms like a human being, and the surgeons just control the machine. I forget how, Da Vinci or some name like that, right? And they use those machines to operate upon people. Now, what is the challenge? The challenge is a lot of older surgeons who are not as willing to adjust to these things, struggle in employment locations where these machines have been installed, right? And some of them are being forced to resign and retire because they are not able to pivot and reinvent and adjust themselves to the changing circumstances of where we are today, right? The fourth thing, and this one I want everybody to pay attention very closely. The fourth most important thing, if you want to be successful from 2024 going forward, understand that job security is the new job insecurity. I want everyone to listen very well.
I think we need the explanation with that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I mean is, whatever job you're doing, which is an employment, it's important to also be developing some personal skills of yours that you can market and use to sustain and generate income in case you don't have a job again. And I say this with all respect for jobs. I worked for many years. I couldn't get where I am without jobs. But I'm just saying that the new economy we live in, things are no longer the 20, 30, 40 years lifespan, right? Number one. Number two, you have to understand that companies have a fiduciary duty to one person. And that one person is the stockholder.
Yeah, that's true.
If it's a public company, it's a stockholder. Everything else, no. It's normal, and it's not wrong, right?
Yeah.
I'll give you a simple example. I'm driving a few years ago, 2021. I was working for one of the top technology companies in the world. The owner of this company is worth at least $7 billion, right? Yeah. This is the one. It's usually between the top 4 technology companies. And I'm in Washington, D.C., running to the Cameroon embassy, making arrangements to take my dad's funeral, final remains back to Cameroon to go lay him to rest. So I'm going back and forth. And in the height of traffic in New York Avenue in Washington, D.C., I get a call from my manager at work. And I pick up the phone. I say, hello. He says, Gustav, how are you? I said, I'm fine, but how are you doing? He said, no, all is well, all is well. I said, I'm in DC. He said, yeah, I know you took some 2 days off to go do some arrangements for your dad. I'm sorry about your dad again. I really feel bad for you. But I have bad news for you, Gustav. I have to let you go. Listen, Toridey. Listen here, boy. And I want us to understand these realities, right? I just lost my father, my mentor, and the greatest man I ever knew, right? I'm hurting, right? At the same time, my manager has a job to do. I love him, Bob. One of the best managers I've ever worked with in my life. He's called Bob Gober. Nice guy. I love him to death. Everyone who ever worked with him loves him like crazy. But he had a job to do, Toridey.
Of course.
His job is that, listen, we got to cut down on staff or whatever the reason was. Yeah. Gustav, I'm sorry. I got to let you go. I'm a bearer of bad news, right? For a second, I got angry. I'm like, God damn it, why all these things? Yeah. And then I parked the car by the road for 2 minutes. I said, Gustav, calm down. Don't let your emotions ride you.
Yeah.
Remember, emotions are just a place of reference, and it's not a place of residence. Don't let your emotions ride you. Wow. You have to ask yourself a question. Why didn't you prepare for this moment enough? Yeah. You should know it is coming.
That job you have is that job you have you call security is the first insecurity you should have.
So I'm not saying it in a bad way.
Yeah.
But what I'm just saying is that yes, I've always lived life understanding that there are times we might not have jobs and things like that. But it forced me, it reinvigorated in me the necessity to also, in the process of doing that, to also develop your personal skills, right? Because one of the things that happens, and as I was talking about assets and mindset and tool set, is that most of us, the most important asset we have, which is time, we give a bunch of it out for X amount of money, right? Now, if you want to increase how much you make doing that amount of time without giving in as much time, you have to increase your value. And to increase your value is the mindset, it's a skill set, and it's a tool set. What is the tool set? The tool set is the technologies we have. What are the tools you got, Toridey? You have a skill set to manage cameras and all of that.
Yeah.
But you have a tool set, which is a natural gift to be able to convince people to come on your platform. You're not the only one who does this.
Very true.
But you're the only freaking guy who've been able to get me twice to drive from Austin to just come and sit with you and talk. And I keep asking myself, does this guy have something from Kumba that he's brought? And my friends Konyambi never told me. So, but anyways, right?
Yeah.
So that is why it's important, because we all have a gift. We all have something we could deliver on exceptionally. We all have something we are good at. The danger and the problem and the challenge a lot of times is that we don't have the courage, number one, and sometimes we don't have the willingness to pay the price to develop that gift, right? That's why Bob might not know that. He might listen to this someday. I mean, that was something, because it was a moment to me that told me, Gustav, you know what? I know you've always known what you got and that you have to develop it. But boy, it's not going to happen at your pace.
Yeah.
God will push you to do what you are born to do, whether you like it or not, right? I left. I took some time off, went and laid our father to rest, came back, took some time, looked for another job, and I got into the agile space, right? I got into this other top financial company as you know, working through a technology company called Cognizant. Life is good. I am doing work, and you know, everything is okay. And one good day, I'm just doing my work on a nice Monday. 11 a.m. in the morning, my phone rings. I pick up I get a ping, sorry.
Yeah.
I get a ping. Gustav, are you available? I say, hey, I'm available. That's my manager.
Yeah.
Right? And he actually is the director, so he's above my manager.
Yeah.
And I say, yeah. He says, okay, I'm sending a 15-minute calendar invite for you. We have a meeting. And I get on the meeting. I'm thinking, hey, they're coming to tell me, hey, Gustav, you're going to have a pay raise or something. And I get on the call and he says, hey, Gustav, how are you today? I said, no, I feel blessed. Awesome day to be alive. He said, well, you know, I know your contract is supposed to be the end of next year, but we don't really want to continue in the agile direction again. So we might not need your services as a Scrum Master and Agile coach, right? It might not be something we need anymore. Your last day is Friday. This is a Monday. But let me tell you, Toridey, let me tell you the most hurting thing.
Yeah.
It's not losing, right? It's normal. Anybody who works knows that it can happen.
You can
right?
lose, yeah.
But I was very hurt with myself because I felt humiliated. You know why I felt humiliated?
You never had any backup plans?
No, I have backup and all of that stuff. But I felt like somebody else had too much power over my destiny.
Very true.
It was very scary.
Very true.
Very scary, Toridey. Because even though I was ready, but I wasn't ready to leave that minute. I mean, if you work in IT, you know that, right? The money is good.
Not only IT.
Yeah, any job. Yes, any job. The money is good.
Even relationship.
Anything, even relationship. You are right.
Somebody walk up to you and say, oh, you know what? I don't want me to marry again.
Exactly. Right? So even when you prepare as much as possible, but that moment is very... So I felt humiliated. I felt like, Gustav, at the age of 45, 46 years old, man, with all you got, all you know in this life, some of the things you've experienced, you've been down in the gutter, life has been beating you for some while, you've risen, you've fallen, you've rose, you have all the skill to bounce back again, you understand? And yet somebody else has to control your destiny and the destiny of your family. Boy, get up, man. Get up.
And do something.
And do something about it. Yeah. I don't know if it makes sense.
Very true.
Good. It doesn't mean if you are in a situation of a job, yes, go get another job, but remember the lesson. Start preparing if you haven't been preparing. Start working on those individual skills that you can market and somebody can pay for you.
This is deep. Boss, I just wanted to add something. He said that job you have that you consider security should be your greatest insecurity. Means a lot. I've experienced that. So many people in our community have experienced that. We actually don't look into it like he's actually explaining right now. the one thing I want to just remind our people is the fact that there's a reason why that job hired you. And if you can actually pay attention to the skill you're providing to them and think out of the box on how I can actually develop these skills and use it on my own, then you can actually be preparing yourself towards something. Maybe you'll be the one to even tell you, no, I don't want me to work again. I don't ready for go. Because that's the thing. I can bet you 90%, 95, 99%. The same reason I admire you as Gustav B. Achu, now the same reason that job will keep you. The elegant person, the fun person, the skillful person, and all of these things. So why you never use all those qualities, all that, you understand, and see how you can develop something where now you will actually be the patron for control and run them.
And you can control, you can mitigate their destiny a little bit. Because I think one of the things we need to make very clear to Toridey,
yes, boss,
and everybody should understand this. We can't survive without jobs first at different points in our lives.
Very true.
I am not anti-job. I love jobs.
No
Everyone
one is.
should have a job.
No one is.
Because that is where you get training.
Yeah.
Right? I am not one of those who will tell you, hey, leave your job today, pack up, and just go start an entrepreneurial business.
Everybody becomes an entrepreneur?
No. Not exactly. Not anybody is cut up for that. It's understandable. Not everybody is born to do that, right? Even though it's a skill you can learn, you don't have to be born. But it's important to understand that by our very human nature, we protect ourselves first. And when you think about where we are today, the job market around the world, the way the global economy happens, the speed at which things change. In order to protect yourself, you must always make sure you develop some skills that you can market independent of anybody else and sustain yourself. Now, if you are in a job, you have to, and you intend someday to become independent, then you have to start planning towards that time. You have to start building an income plan towards that time, while also building strategic trainings. What kind of trainings do I need to get? Who can give me that kind of training? Toridey, do you know that when I decided earlier this year, because here's the story, right? I created an account on YouTube in 2014, right? But I never took it seriously. I didn't even understand what YouTube was all about. End of 2022, my brother and friend, Mr. Atsomufo, calls me up. And we had a business we're already running together. Atso, myself, Uji, Christine, my elder sister, Sally, right? And we had a YouTube channel, right, for our stuff. But even that, it still didn't mean. And then end of 2022, continuously every day for 1 week, Mr. Mofo keeps calling me, Gustav, there's something going on in YouTube we're missing here. And then sometime about February of this year, I decided, you know what, let me really take a closer look. What is this YouTube? Because when I created the account 2014, I just used to put up videos once every 6 months, some kind of thing. I didn't care. You know what I mean? And then I started going close and trying to understand what is the business of YouTube. What is it YouTube exists for? What is it that company wants? Why is it that it's the second largest search engine in the world after Google? How come 2.4 billion active users are on YouTube every day? How come 200 million people are making money on YouTube every day? Right? How come it's the second largest news outlet in the world other than traditional cable TV? And as we are speaking today, cable TV, their pants are shaking like this.
Of course.
Because they are owned by the older generation of Fox News, Rupert Murdoch, and all those old guys. They don't understand what is happening. That today, a guy sitting out here in Dallas, I forget his name, he has a talk show. You know what I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about.
That guy is more powerful than CNN. That guy is more powerful than even Fox News.
We need to mention his name. Oh, God. How can I forget his name?
If you look on the comments, somebody will put it in the comment, I believe.
Yeah, just go ahead.
You understand? Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
You understand? That's
Joe
just one
Rogan
of
is huge.
But that's just one.
Joe Rogan is influential. But Joe Rogan can actually make... Boss, go ahead.
Listen, we have a lot of other people from Asia, from India, from Africa that have influence, right? So I keep asking myself, therefore, I keep saying, so I was missing something. So I decided, you know what? I got to understand what YouTube is. That's the platform I'm going to be resident on.
Yeah.
I got to learn about it. But I'm not going to learn about it as a scrungy, stupid man. I'm going to learn about it by looking for a mentor who can cut short my journey.
Yeah.
There is a guy who offers training on YouTube. I just finished his training. I paid him $4,000 for that training. We're 700 of us in that class. $4,000 times 700. That's $2.8 million. If he does that 4 times a year, how much is that? The guy...
Even once a year.
Okay, so what I'm saying, Toridey, right? What I'm trying to say is that at every point in time, everybody must have a backup plan. And that backup plan, especially when it comes to the economy of today, has to be you and your skill set. In addition, it has to be you, your mindset, your skill set, and your tool set. And it will make you all the assets you need. If your assets are not enough, if you feel like your assets don't represent what you believe is your value, then understand you have to increase your mindset, or you have to improve on your skill set, or you have to improve on your tool set, or you have to upgrade all three in order to increase your assets.
Gustav be at you.
3 days. So it's...
Oh, Lord. Now, when